Hello and welcome to my channel, Talisman Tarot. In this reading I want to ask the cards and spirit directly through channeling about the person on your mind, what their first impression was of you when you two first met. And so I have 4 groups that you can choose from. This will be group number 1, this will be group number 2, this will be group number 3, and this will be group number 4. And so I will ask you to use your intuition and choose the right group for you, the group that speaks to you the most, the group that catches your eye, and that group will be your group. And if you need any more time to choose, you can always pause the video, but if you don't, I'll just move on to the reading. Hello, group number 1. You chose this, the Cook's Tarot deck, and I'll start with some channeling and then I will shuffle the cards for you. So, okay, group number 1, the people who will choose group number 1. Group number 1, the person on group number 1's mind. What was their first impression of group number 1? What was the first impression of group number 1? This person's first impression of group number 1. I'm hearing the word bombastic and also ballistic, and so bombastic makes me think that this person might have felt like you were a bit extra in a way, or a bit over the top. Maybe you reacted quite strongly to something when you first met, or maybe you were just a bit too much, not too much, but like a bit loud and a bit, maybe you laughed a bit too hard at this person's jokes or someone else's jokes, and this person might have felt like you were maybe faking it, faking your laughter, like making it seem like maybe over exaggerating your laughter or something, or maybe you showed excitement about something where you were openly excited about something, like you might be very good at expressing your emotions, like in a very healthy way, where you show your joy and you show your excitement, and not many people do that. So it's like a very good thing. It's a healthy thing. Like you might be the type who, like, if you eat something that tastes really good, you might be the type who has like a small dance that you do when you eat something that you're really excited about eating, like, or like you might get really excited before eating something that's like that you really like to eat, or like, and you might get excited about things like food, but also like things like maybe you get excited about going to like the cinema, like while waiting to get into the cinema. You might be the type who actually shows that you're like a bit impatient for it, and like you're really excited to see it. And or like when you're like, you might be the type who goes to like a theme park and goes on like a roller coaster, and you get like this childlike joy where you actually get excited before going on, like, and that's really healthy. It's something that some people see as a like some stuck-up people will see it as a bit childish or something, but it's something that we really shouldn't be outgrowing. We shouldn't be outgrowing this childlike joy, because it is so refreshing and uplifting, and it's why not show your excitement? Like, what's the problem in that? Why seal it? Why cover it up? What's the point in that? Like, what so I think you might have shown some kind of like you might have been a bit overly excited about something, or you might have been maybe laughing a bit too hard at some jokes that weren't really that funny. Like, because I also got like something about your laughter. Maybe you just have a really great laughter. Like, you laugh in a way that just lightens up the room. Like, you might have a very loud laughter where and maybe even a bit of like a characteristic laughter, and you might really enjoy to laugh at things, and you may even laugh at things that aren't really that funny. And sometimes you might over exaggerate your laughter to make someone feel better about themselves, but there's not really a crime in that. Like, that's just empathy, and even like it even shows like respect for the people that we are hanging out with when we sometimes over exaggerate our laughter just to make people happy. Like, why not? And so this person might have gotten like the impression that you were a bit, maybe even a bit fake, or acting a bit fake, because or that you are trying to impress people or make people like you by acting that way, or something like that. But really, I don't think you were. I just think you were out having a good time. And so but this was this person's first impression, so this could have changed afterwards. So not many people have like a good impression of us, like when they first meet us, and this is not really that negative either. But like this to me, this tells me more about this person than it does you, because it tells me that this person might be a bit closed off and a bit detached from their own emotions, and it seems that they have a bit of an unhealthy relationship with their emotions. And so, and it also tells me that this person might have might be used to people being kind of dull and boring, and this person might have grown up in a family where no one expressed their feelings, and maybe this person had parents who were deaf, but that's maybe specific for one of you. So this person could have like grown up in a very silent house where there weren't any sounds, like, or weren't many sounds. So this person might be a bit like hypersensitive to sound, or so if this person felt like you were a bit too loud when they met you, it might not have anything to do with you. They might have just felt you were loud because you were louder than what they were used to, and that's maybe not that loud. Actually, it might be quite a normal volume. But I'm also getting the feeling that maybe this person was brought up in a home where you were not allowed to raise your voice, where raising your voice was considered a bit of a crime. And so if you have a voice where like you raise it sometimes, like you might raise it when you're angry, and you might not see it as a big deal because that's maybe something that you grew up. Maybe you grew up in a family that was a bit loud, and where you had to raise your voice because if you didn't raise your voice, you wouldn't get heard. So maybe it's just like a clash between two different cultures in a way. So don't take that personally. I think there might also have been like a situation where you got angry at someone and you expressed that anger, and this person was a bit afraid of that because this person wants everything to be status quo. They don't want any fights or trouble. Like they want everyone to get along. And so as soon as someone stands up for themselves and says like, I don't like it when you do that, or like someone might have done something that you found inappropriate, like maybe someone grabbed your ass or something and you found that to be very inappropriate, and so you said that and you got angry, and this person might have gotten uncomfortable because of that, because they felt like you should have just let it go, and because that would have something, I don't know. So that might be the ballistic type, or not a ballistic thing. The thing about the ballistic, the word ballistic that I got, like I don't know really. I think it might have something to do with how you might you're not afraid of defending yourself. If someone says something to you, you defend yourself. You put out your weapons. Like you don't just let people walk all over you. And so you might have gone a bit ballistic, or that maybe you didn't. Maybe you looking back at it, you don't really think you reacted that. You don't see it as if you reacted like that you went ballistic on someone, like, but this person might have felt that, even though you might have just politely said, I don't like it when you do that, or to someone, and in their mind you went ballistic, but really you were just maybe even polite towards the person and said, well, stop doing that, that's not a nice thing to do, or something, and so but yeah, I'll shuffle the cards and see what cards come up about how the first impression of group number 1. Okay, with the 7 of Pentacles here, well, you can see that this person has a knife, and that's not really the meaning of the card, but like 7 of Pentacles, but I'm kind of drawn to this picture here of this person with a knife. So maybe this person felt like you had your knife on you, like you were ready to, maybe that you were like you know, when you have like your weapon on you, like in case something should, like maybe this person felt like you were kind of ready to attack, or that you were maybe even, and I know this is very negative, but like maybe that you were looking for a fight, something, or looking for something to get mad about, and I don't think that was the case. I just think someone did something and you were angry over it, and you spoke up about it, and so maybe someone said something offensive to you and you called them out for doing that, and it might not have been this person that you're asking about, but it might have been someone else, and this person might have just felt like, oh, don't go there, like, oh, please don't go there, like, and so I think this person is like very afraid of people fighting, and that can be some PTSD from the past, where they so that's kind of like, that doesn't really add up with a deaf family, but there could be that was very specific for one of you. So, but for others of you, this person might have grown up in maybe an even a bit chaotic family, where his or her parents were constantly fighting, and so now whenever they witness someone getting into a fight, they get uncomfortable because it gives them like flashbacks to their childhood, and so they really just want everyone to get along, and to not raise their voice, and everyone should just be friends, and or not friends but tolerate each other and tolerate the bullshit, because maybe this person is also a bit of a doormat, and this person might expect everyone else to be too. So there might also be something about the watch here, like this person is looking at her, she's looking at her watch. So there might have been something where you looked at your watch when you first met, like you were constantly thinking about the time. So maybe you had to go somewhere in the morning, like if this was like, if you met this person at a party or at a club or something, you might have been looking at the clock all the time, or looking at your phone to see what the clock what the time was, and you might have done that because you had to leave early, because maybe you had work in the morning, and so you had to go early, and maybe this person felt like you were a bit busy, like you were, or you seemed busy because you were constantly looking at your clock or your watch, or looking at the clock or looking at your phone, and maybe you were looking at your phone to like see if you had gotten like messages, maybe work related, maybe you were preoccupied with something that had to do with work. So maybe you were also talking about work when you met this person. Maybe you were also trying to impress, like with a bombastic thing. Maybe you were trying to impress them, like overly impressed, and maybe this person felt like you were, like maybe you were talking about your work or your career or something, and this person might have felt like you were over exaggerating it, or talking it up, or talking about it in a bit of a romantic way, where this person might have felt like it was not genuine, not completely genuine, or something, or that you were just saying that to impress them, or also that you might have been compensating, like you might have felt like maybe when you met this person first, you felt like they were not really that impressed by you in the beginning, and so maybe you wanted to impress them because you felt like you had to, because you had to prove that you were actually, like maybe you have like something where you can sense how people feel about you, like you might be able to read people very well, and maybe even telepathically communicate with people and see what people are thinking, and so you might have like gotten the sense, like in the beginning when you met this person, that they didn't really like you, and so you tried very hard to impress them into liking you, but it was mostly because you just had this feeling that this person didn't like you, so you might have like tried to find some topics that you could talk to this person about that would impress them, or something. I'm also getting that like you might be from a different country than this person. Like you might be a foreigner, or maybe you met this person on a trip to like somewhere where you were traveling or something, and maybe that was why you had to leave. Maybe you had to go to the train the next morning to get to somewhere else. Maybe you were out traveling, maybe interrail or something like that, and you needed to go to the next place. Or maybe it was like a pub crawl where you had to go from bar to bar, and so maybe you were on some kind of pub crawl where you had to leave to get to a different bar or something. But there might have been something where you had to rush somewhere else, or maybe this was speed dating, or but I don't think that's the thing. But like there might have been something where you were looking at the clock because you were supposed to do something else, like so you only had like a very short time to actually maybe to impress this person, so you tried to impress them as much as possible, and so maybe that was also why they felt like you were trying to impress them, because you had a very short amount of time to do it. But I think with the Seven of Pentacles, I also think this person might have felt like you were like maybe if you that you were doing doing something wrong with that you were wasting your time on something. So if you talked to this person about maybe your career or your job, this person might have felt like you were wasting your time on it because I don't know why, but it's I'm not completely sure, but there's also a microwave wave here. Like it makes me like think that like there might have been something when you met this person that said bling, like that, you know the how like as a microwave does, and that kind of makes me think of like the speed dating thing, but or a pub crawl where something says ding, and then you have to leave to a different location. So yeah, with the King of Pentacles, I think this person might have felt like you were a bit like there's something here about maybe you that you were independent in some way, that you were like maybe like if you're a woman and this person is a man, you might have taken a bit of the man role, where you might have tried to take control over the situation in a way. Maybe you showed a bit like a bit of a dominant personality. You might have also bought this person drinks, and like that's kind of like the man's role to do that, but it doesn't it doesn't add up with this photo, this picture here, because that's a man getting served by a woman. So maybe this person also felt like, well, yeah, that does add up. So maybe this person felt like you were the one buying drinks, and that was maybe this person actually liked that part, like that you were. It was refreshing that you were independent and didn't rely on anyone, on other people to buy you drinks. That you were working for it. That you were actually showing that you were actually doing something to woo them. Like maybe you were flirting with them, and like trying to impress them. And if this is a man and you're a woman, that is maybe something this person didn't expect from a woman for some reason, because they expect maybe in their culture, they or maybe where they come from, it's the man who has to impress the woman, not the other way around, and that it's the man who needs to buy the drinks. And so I think there's something where I'm actually getting the feeling that the independence might actually have scared them off a bit, or turned them off a bit, because you might have shown that you were like a strong, independent woman who didn't need no man. And so you also, like, if you probably also showed your independence by, like, if something happened and you reacted to it, like if someone said something to you and you called them out for saying that, and took the liberty to do that, then this person might have felt like you were kind of that it's kind of a weird thing, because maybe this person is from a culture where and I don't, it's kind of old-fashioned, but maybe this person feels like women shouldn't speak up, that women should be silent. Women should be these goody-goodies who should be just behaving, and be that women should be passive. And so maybe they felt like you were taking a bit of like this. You were shifting you were changing the roles, the gender roles, in a way where you became the man, and you treated this person as kind of the woman in this, where you were the one doing, like, you maybe you reacted, for instance, if you reacted to something someone did that wasn't this person but someone else did, then this person might have told you, like, oh, don't make a scene or something, and then you said, just fuck off, like, I'll make a scene if I want to. And this person felt like you should have listened to them in a way. And so it's, but the Queen of Pentacles is also here, so I'm getting that there might have been something where I think you are quite you might have shown some generosity when it comes to money, and that might have also made this person uncomfortable, because you might have like offered to pay, and in a way that might have made them feel like, oh, you were taking pity on them, or that you were kind of doing what they should have been doing, like, and so or that you stole that from them. Like maybe this person is usually like, if this wasn't like a date or something like that, but you two just went out for drinks or something with a bunch of other friends, then you might have paid for drinks for the whole group or something, and this person might have been a bit felt like they would have wanted to do that, and so you took that joy from them by doing it, or something. But like, I'm getting the feeling that with the King of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles together, that I think this person saw you as, and also with the Empress, like I think this person saw you as quite, as someone they could have potentially, like if this was a date, I think they saw potential in you, but I think they saw potential in you in a different way, where maybe this person is more interested in like a very traditional kind of arrangement, where they want like the gender roles to be like the traditional gender roles, and maybe they felt like you were a bit too different from what they were used to, but they still saw, like, I think they were quite attracted to you, especially physically, but I just think they felt that your personality was very different from their personality and from what they are used to, and with the Six of Pentacles, I think this person felt like you were very generous. Like what I think you, their first impression of you was that you were generous with, possibly both with your money, but also with your help. Like you might have helped them with something, or but I'm also getting like that this person might have felt like you were maybe talking a bit down to them, and that you didn't really respect them in a way that they wanted, because this thing here does make me think of, like, there's something that I read about Japanese culture a long time ago. Like I read about it a long time ago, so I don't really remember it, but it was about how in the Japanese language, then you always, like, if you give someone an apple, like if you say that phrase that you're giving someone an apple, you always say that you are giving the apple up to the person, and like you're always the language, the way that the language which is just is talking, is always talking up. Like everyone is doing something up, like as if they are the person that are in front of someone is always the one who is on a pedestal. Like every and not on a pedestal, but like it's just a way of always being polite and always seeing the person the person you're talking to as above you, and being humble in always feel and because Japanese people are just very humble in general, and have that thing where they always say, like also I've read something about how they always say that their house is bad compared to other people's houses. Like they always talk their own house down and always talk other people's houses up, and that might sound bad, but like when everyone is doing that, you're actually getting it's actually balancing it out, because what you put down is what people put up, and so it ends up balancing itself. But this person might have felt like maybe you also talked yourself down in a way where this person felt like, maybe this person felt like you were saying something to them where maybe you were talking about your work. Maybe you weren't actually trying to impress them, but maybe you were saying that, oh, it's not something I'm naturally gifted to do. Like I'm not talented in that way, but I make it work because I'm a hard worker or something. Like you might have talked about the thing that you're doing, like career-wise or job-wise, in that light where you said, like, it doesn't come easy to me, but I'm a hard worker, and so I make it work. And it's something that gives me a lot of joy, and so I do it, even though I know that other people are better at it than I am. But they don't have the same work ethic as me. So I like that you might have said something like that, where this person felt like you were maybe underselling yourself in a way, or maybe this person also felt like you were maybe overselling them, like overly maybe you gave a lot of compliments to this person, and they might have felt like you weren't being genuine. Like you might have praised them a lot, given them a lot of, like, said like you also, like, if the first time you met, you might have said like, oh, you're so beautiful, you're so pretty, I can totally see how you can be really good at your job, because you seem very analytical, and you seem to be very quick-witted, and you might have given those kind of compliments where you said, like, kept saying that you thought they were amazing, and maybe even to the point where they felt like it was a bit too much, where they didn't really know if you were actually being genuine or if you were just trying to make them like you, or something. Maybe you even said something like, oh, you're so much better at this than I am. Oh, I really adore that you can do this, because that's something I can't do, or maybe you said something like that. And I think this person might have felt like you were being a bit too nice, or something, to the point where they just felt like you were being fake or dishonest. So yeah, but I think that's all I have for you, group number 1. I hope this reading was helpful, and if it was, please subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you in my next reading. Bye. Hello, group number 2. You chose this Botticelli tarot deck, and so I will start with some channeling, and then I will shuffle the cards for you. So, okay, group number 2, the people who will choose group number 2. The person on group number 2's mind, what was their first impression of group number 2? So I'm getting the feeling that this person might have thought of you as like I'm getting something about you. Maybe you were a bit drunk when you met this person first, or maybe I don't know, drunk or in some kind of state where you were not completely yourself. Maybe you were in pain, like maybe you had some surgery done that kind of made you like. I think this person felt like you seemed a bit like something was bothering you, and so maybe you were sick, like maybe you had a fever or like the flu or something. So I think this person might have felt like they. But I'm also getting that maybe you were just very, very drunk. I'm getting that this person might have felt like you were a bit like talking in circles. That's kind of something I'm getting at. You were maybe like trying to explain something, but you kept like maybe you kept like talking in circles, and that's kind of something that you tend to do when you're really, really drunk. Like you keep repeating the same like circle, like start repeating yourself a bit and start talking about the same thing, but like over and over again, just like. And like I'm also getting that you were like in this circle where like it seemed like you were struggling to get out of it. Like you kept talking about the same thing over and over again, but like as if you couldn't really get out of it. And so that's something I either like associate with being drunk, or maybe being really, really tired, so you could have also like been very tired when you talked to this person, but also maybe you have some like mild case of ADD where sometimes you just get really excited about something and then you like keep talking about it, and you can't really snap out of it. So I think there's something here where they felt like you talked about something and you couldn't snap out of it. and I think this person thought it was sort of cute. So it's not. I'm not getting that this person felt like it was like a very like bad thing, but they might have gotten a bit impatient with it, in a way. So like, but like you might also have like started like telling a story and then you got distracted, like, and started maybe you started telling a story and then you right in the middle of the story you remembered some detail that you about the story, and then you or remembered another story that is kind of similar to that story or has like the same like so you remembered something else right in the middle of the story, then you started talking about that, and then you started talking about something else and something else entirely, and then you kind of forgot where you were, and you never really got to the point of the story, and so maybe this person felt like you were like getting like they were waiting for the point of the story, but that it never came. And this also makes me like think of like when we try to tell a story when we're drunk. So I keep getting back to that, but like when we do that, when we get distracted, then like especially if we're at a party, like then someone comes and says hi to us, and then we have to say hi to someone, and then we keep getting distracted by people around and the environment, and then we end up like forgetting what we were actually about to say. So I think this person like there's also something about you going back and forth with something, like going from one pole to the other, and that also makes me think of maybe like that you were drunk, because you might have. I think I'm getting like a scenario where you were like maybe you were really really drunk, and then you kept like saying, "Oh, I'm not drunk. I'm not too drunk. Like it's not that bad." Like and like maybe you were trying to like make yourself believe it too. Like maybe you were trying to. But then like you went from like, "Oh, I'm not drunk," and then you might have like said like, "Oh, I'm too drunk. I need to go home." And then 5 minutes later you were like, it's not that bad. And then you might have gone back to the other pole where you said, it's maybe critical. Maybe I need to throw up now. And like so you might have like gone from one pole to the other a lot, but it could also, like if you were sick, this could also have been the thing, like you might have like tried to convince yourself and others that you were not sick, like, "Oh no, it's nothing, it's just a small fever, it's nothing," like maybe this like or something like maybe this was before Corona, when it was still kind of legal to go out when you were sick, so like I think maybe you just kept like saying, "Oh, I'm not that sick, like it's nothing." People might have gone up to you and maybe they were worried about you and said like, "Go home, like you're sick," and you were like, no, it's fine. But then you might have like changed your mind and said, "Oh, I think I need to go home," and then you might have changed your mind again and said like, "Oh, I'm fine, it's nothing," and then like so there's something where you went back and forth, like changing your mind about something like a lot and going back and forth with it, and so Yeah. With the Two of Wands reversed, I think this person felt like you. Well, Two of Wands makes me think of someone who who's able to see the big picture, because in the the Rider-Waite tarot deck, it's someone who's looking at a globe, and that's kind of the biggest picture you can have, like when you're looking at a globe, and so I think when it's reversed here, I think this person might have seen you as someone who, like maybe you, like when you were telling that story, like you might have told the story without the bigger picture in mind, and you were like constantly getting thrown off because of some details. Like maybe you were like telling the story, and then then you couldn't like remember some detail in the story, and then you kept like trying to remember that one small detail, and you kept like going in circles with like trying to figure out that detail, and they were maybe trying to rush you, saying that's not important. It's not important what color their car was. Like it's not important. It's fine that you don't remember. It doesn't really have anything to do with the story. Just get to the point. So there might have been something where you were kind of like fixated on some details, and maybe you were really tired. Like I get that. Like when I get fixated on some details, it's usually when I'm really, really tired. So yeah. So with the Nine of Pentacles also reversed, I think this person might have felt like you weren't very independent. Maybe you gave like a bit of a vibe to this person that you relied a lot on other people's opinions. Like maybe you kept asking this person, like, what do you think I should do? Like, do you think I should like go home now because I'm sick, or something else? Like maybe you tried to like get the answer from other people instead of like maybe it was because you had a hard time like making that decision on your own, so you were like trying to make other people make the decision for you, because you were just going back and forth with the pros and the cons, and like you couldn't really navigate in whether you should do it or not, and so you were trying to get some advice from maybe this person, but maybe also other people, I don't know. But and this person might have felt like you were a bit that you were dependent on other people's opinions, and dependent on other people making decisions for you, that you were not able to make decisions yourself, and maybe also in a way that you weren't really able to take care of yourself, and that's maybe if you were sick, for instance, like you might have, like the fact that you might have gone to this event or whatever this was, even though you were sick, that kind of gives off the vibe that you're not taking care of yourself, that you're pushing yourself to do things, even though your body is not is telling you to. Maybe also this person might have felt like you weren't completely listening to your body. So I think this person also So with the Four of Wands reversed, I think, well, this is kind of mean, but I think this person might have felt like you were a bit of a party pooper, because you, maybe that you were killing the vibe because you were sick, or because you were too drunk or something, where or maybe you got like, there's also something like where you had a conversation with this person where maybe in the middle of the conversation you had to rush to somewhere else because something had happened, or maybe you were just preoccupied with something in your brain. You were thinking about something else while talking to this person, and maybe it was because you had heard some news about, or that you had heard something about some of your friends, maybe that they were like that someone was in an accident, or that one of your friends were out throwing up, or was sick or something, and you were having this conversation, but you couldn't really have the conversation with them because you kept getting distracted by whatever was happening around. And so this person might have felt like you were kind of worried about, like, maybe something happened. I'm also getting another thing here where maybe you went to a party and you got some news at the party about maybe a family member or something, or like maybe your grandmother was in the hospital or something, and your grandmother might have said that your family members might have said to you that you shouldn't worry, that you shouldn't come up there. Maybe it was like in the Corona, when Corona was worst, so you couldn't even visit her if you wanted to, and so you had to stay away or something. And so and maybe you were having a conversation with this person at some kind of not necessarily a party, but some kind of get together with some friends, and this person might have felt like, and that's kind of empathetic, but like this person might have felt that you were talking too much about this and worrying too much about it, and it was kind of killing the mood, and that might have been where they felt like you should have just snapped out of it. But that's kind of hard to do if you're worried about something. But this, like, you might have gone back. That could also have been the back and forth thing where you might have said like, oh, she's going to be fine. She's strong. She hasn't like had like any sickness in the last many years, and so she's going to be fine. And then you might have like changed your mind like in the middle of the conversation and said like, oh, but what if she's not fine? What if she's going to die, like, or some? And so you might have like been like very affected by it and talking a lot about it at the party or at the get together. And this person might have not had the patience and tolerance for it, because they just wanted to have like a nice time, and so they felt like it was maybe they just felt like you should have just gone home instead, and or something. So I'm getting like the feeling that maybe like their first impression of you, like it's not something you should take personally, because it says more about them than it does about you, because it does make me think that this person is kind of impatient and not that tolerant and not that empathetic towards other people having issues that they want to talk about, and like it's unfair to like say that you to have a negative first impression of you just because you were going through something. And so, but maybe it changed. It's of course their first impression of you, so it might have changed with time, and so it's not necessarily what they think of you now. So, but yeah, I think that's all I have for you, group number 2. I hope this reading made sense, and if it did, please subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you in my next reading. Bye. Hello, group number 3. You chose this archetype oracle deck, and so I will start with a channeled message and then I will shuffle the cards. So, okay, group number 3. The people who will choose group number 3, the person on group number 3's mind. How was the person on group number 3's mind? How was their first impression of group number 3? Of the people who will choose group number 3? Okay, so I'm getting something about you. I think this person saw you as quite straightforward when they first met you. You might have said something where you just said whatever came to mind, or whatever you like. You didn't sugarcoat anything, or you were very direct about something where it's something this person is not wasn't really that used to. I think so. I think this person saw you as quite quite easygoing, quite just very direct, and very uncomplicated, but also very hard to manipulate. So you might have given off some vibe that like you were also that you were quite fixed, like you were not mutable, like you were very fixed in your ways. You said you expressed your feelings and your what was on your mind. Like you said things like you said it as it is. Like you didn't sugarcoat anything. You said just what you were thinking, but also like I'm getting like a no bullshit vibe here, where you were like this person might be used to like if you're a woman, I think this person is very used to other women being very complicated and very not straightforward with them. And this person might have like grown up with a lot of sisters, or a lot of female family members being very close to them all the time. And these females in their family might have always been very hard to read, and like they might have always had to like navigate in that, where they had to read these women, where like, and well, sometimes women can be complicated. Sometimes we say yes and really we mean no, and sometimes we say no and we really mean yes, and things like that, where I think this person, like you might have said no to something. Like this person, when you first met this person, they might have offered you something and you said no. And then they might have like kept poking at you by like kept saying like, but are you sure? And you said, yes, I'm sure, completely sure. I don't want that. And then they might have been like, but are you just saying that because you want to be polite, or is it because you don't want to be a burden, or is it because you feel like it's more of a convenience to others if you say yes or if you say no, or like is it because you are trying to please people, or are you just genuinely like, is it your genuine opinion? And you were just like, yes, the answer is no, and there's nothing, it's not that complicated. And so I think this person felt like you were simple in the way where like you weren't complicated, but in your simplicity you were actually kind of complicated to this person, because it was hard for them to read you because of your simplicity, because they are used to having to navigate in all kind of layers where they need to have everything, take everything into account, and so I think this person was, even though you made it very clear many times that when you say no, you mean no. Even though you made that very clear, I think they still felt like you were saying it, that it wasn't completely what you were feeling, that you were being that it like they still didn't really believe it. So there's also something about this where like either it's this thing, but I also talked about manipulation before, and so maybe this person also is kind of used to being able to manipulate people, and that's kind of the other, like this person with all the siblings, and this person who's used to having to navigate with all those siblings and females in their family, like that's kind of that seems like a genuine person, but I think it only resonates with a few of you. So, but for others of you, I think there's more like a manipulation thing going on, where I think this person is used to manipulating people by like if they get a no, they try to manipulate people into saying yes by trying to make other people believe that it's their idea or what they actually want, like, and so it's like hypnosis in a way, where they feel like where they are used to, like when someone says no to them, they say, but are you sure? Is that really what you want? Is that what you desire? Is that really your, aren't you just repressing your desire? Aren't you just like they might be good at like convincing people into believing that they actually mean yes when they say no, and so that's kind of a toxic trait, but it's very hard to tell which one of these is like tell these two apart, but I think but I think when this person met you, this kind of toxic, like if it's a toxic person, I think they realized they couldn't manipulate you. And it's like I'm getting kind of like a thing in my mind right now, like from Little Britain. I don't know if you've seen Little Britain, but there's kind of like a scene in Little Britain where a guy is like on. It's like someone who's like a magician, like hypnotizing people, and I hate to explain the joke, but I have to in this. But so he was on this magician hypnotizing magician thing was on a date with a woman, and he wanted to make sure that she didn't buy the most expensive thing on the menu, and so he tried to hypnotize her by like doing this thing where he said like, look into my eyes, don't look around the eyes, look into my eyes, and you're under, and then like hypnotizing and then saying like, oh, you don't want the lobster, you want something cheap, and like and then snapped his fingers like someone hypnotizing, you know, and you're back in the room. And I told that joke really badly, like, but it's kind of, you should have been there, but I think this person might have like tried to hypnotize you, because this person might hypnotize people. But the fun thing about this scene in Little Britain is that like this magician hypnotizing dude, he can't really hypnotize, and people are just like are not actually reacting to it, and I think that's kind of the thing where I get the link here, where I think this person was like doing that, looking into my eyes to you, and like trying to hypnotize you into doing something the first time you two met, but it wasn't working on you, like, and so they just they have like a way of like putting a spell on people, like this person has a way of putting a spell on people, but it doesn't work on you, and so you're just, and so they didn't get the reaction that they actually expected from you, because you're very like very stubborn, and like when you say no, someone can't just hypnotize you into believing that you actually want it, but like you're not really that easy to convince as soon as you like have, like you're very stubborn in your ways, and you don't change your opinion to match up with someone else's. Like it's you're very true to yourself, and so I think this person just felt like their magic didn't work on you, and you. So like and I think like this kind of like threw them off a bit, that what usually didn't work on you, and they couldn't like play tricks on you, and that could be like something very simple, like maybe this person asked you, like if this was like if you were going somewhere together, like the first time you met, then you might have like had like gone out for a walk or something, I don't know, but and then this person might have known that there was like an ice cream store right on the way there, or something, and this person might have asked you like if you wanted ice cream, and you might have said no, and then they might have kept like asking you, like, are you sure? Are you 100% sure? And like even after you passed the ice cream store, they might have still like asked, like still told you that, oh, you can still change your mind. Like, but and like this is kind of this is, but this is not a toxic situation. It's more like, I think this person just actually wanted ice cream themselves, and so they didn't really want to admit that, and so they tried to make you make it out as if you wanted ice cream, because like, but really it was them, but for some reason they didn't want to admit that it was just their desire, not yours, but they tried to make it out as if it was something they were doing for you, like something nice they were doing for you, even though it was actually just something they wanted themselves, and you were not. It didn't work on you. Like you just said it like you felt it, and you just didn't want ice cream, and so they couldn't convince you that you wanted ice cream. Of course, if they had said that they wanted ice cream, then of course I think you would have said, okay, let's do that. But since they were trying to insinuate and trying to make it out as if you were the one who wanted that didn't stick on you, like that didn't work on you, and so I think, but it could also have been something toxic, like this person tried to, like if this was a first date, like this person might have tried to make you have sex with them, and you were saying no to that, and they might have like kept trying to convince you that you should do it. And maybe they even did it in kind of a toxic way where they made it out as if you were having a problem since you didn't trust them enough to have sex with them the first time. And maybe they even, like this might only resonate with one of you, but maybe they said something like, oh, is it because you had a bad experience before? Is that why you can't trust me enough to have sex with me on the first date? Is it something that happened to you that broke you, and like, are you broken, and is it your problem? Like, and you might have just said like, no, it's just a principle of mine. I don't want to have sex with someone on the first date, and it doesn't have anything to do with any experience I've had. It just has to do with my principle as a person. I have respect for myself, and like, not that it would be, not that there's anything wrong with having sex on the first date. Like, we've all been there, I think. So don't think I'm not judging you at all. Like, so, but or not judging you because you seem to not do that, but judging people who does that. Like, if you have had sex on the first date before, there's nothing wrong with that, of course. So okay, so I think this person might have tried to also, this person like might have said that you have trust issues or something, but they might also have like said that you have daddy issues or something because of some way that you but I'm not completely sure about that. So, but I think there might have been something where this person, like they realized, for some of you, they realized at some point that they can't manipulate you, and so I think they tried to gaslight you and see, like, if they couldn't get what they wanted out of you by trying to manipulate you into believing that you actually wanted them and wanted to have sex with them or wanted to do whatever they wanted you to do. If they couldn't do it by manipulating you, then they thought, okay, but can I do it by gaslighting you? And like making it out as if there's something wrong with you if you don't want to do whatever they want you to do. There's also something like about this person. This is very, very specific for one of you, but if this person offered you like food the first time you met and you said no to it, this person might have assumed that that you have some problem with food or something, that you have some kind of strange relationship to food, or that there's something wrong with you because you said no, but like really it was just because you maybe didn't feel like it at the end. But they might have like thought like, oh, it's because of this and this and this. It's probably because of something that happened, or something from the past, or something that, or I don't know. Also, like if you said no to drinks, like if this person offered you a drink and you said no, then maybe they thought you were an addict, or like someone who used to have a problem with alcohol and now were like that something that or something like that. But there's also something about food, and it's weird because there's kind of this weird connection here, but that only resonates with a few of you, I think. But there's something about a connection between food and sex, that this one person has, where I think, like if this was a date, I think this person has like a thing where they test people by offering them food, because then like they know that if someone says yes, that like they see food as kind of like if someone gets excited about food, they usually also get excited about sex, which I don't think that's true. But it might be some kind of weird link that this particular person has made in their mind, that if you don't want like one of the earthly pleasures, if one of the earthly pleasures doesn't tempt you, it might be a sign that other earthly pleasures don't tempt you either. And so for some, I don't know if this person like is doing some of their own research about how the libido and has some kind of link to food or something. It's weird. But this person could have like some kind of fetish. Like food fetish, like where like they want food to be involved in sex in some way, but or something. And so like they test people when they go on dates with people, they test if they are into that, or something like that. I don't know. That was a bit weird. I'm not sure if that's, but yeah. Okay, so with the Midas miser here, I think this person might have seen you as someone very successful. Maybe you do something for a living that this person but there's also something about maybe you were I don't know. I think there's something about your maybe you're an entrepreneur or you're doing something creative to earn money, and this person like might have, or maybe this person just got the impression that you were like doing something that you were like creative, and but there's also something about maybe that you're good with money. Like maybe maybe the fact that you also said no to something, like when you first met, you might have like said like I think that's a waste of money, like, or something where you might have shown that you have like a business sense, or like, or a sense when it comes to like financial stuff, where like you don't use money on stupid things, and you're good at like watching your money, and not spending your money on something that isn't important. And maybe you even said something about how you don't want to go out on expensive restaurants and eating on expensive cafes and things like that, because you would rather spend that money on building something business-wise, and investing the money on something that would accumulate wealth over time. And maybe you said something about how you thought it was stupid to use your money on something that like expensive restaurants, because maybe you also said something about how in your mind you could it doesn't really matter if you go to McDonald's or like some expensive restaurant, because to you it's kind of the same, like it's the same thing, and like one of those things doesn't give you more joy than the other. Like you don't want to eat at an expensive restaurant just because it's expensive, and like if it doesn't even like taste better than like low price restaurants, like then it's just a waste of money. And like you might also have like said that like you don't want to just eat somewhere fancy just to be able to say that you have eaten somewhere fancy, like, and you might also have expressed that you're not the type who takes pictures of your food to post on Instagram or something, because you don't need that kind of validation from others to like, and you don't need other people to see that you are out doing something and eating on expensive places and doing fancy expensive things, because it doesn't really give you any pleasure to do that. And you might also have like said like you don't like expensive gifts, like you would rather because you feel like it's like a waste of money. The money could be used for something that could grow over time, and using the money on something that will only decrease in value is just a bad investment. And so like there might have been some kind of conversation that you had with this person where you said it doesn't interest me to do something fancy and expensive, and this person might not have understood that and might have felt like you were kidding yourself, or kidding or making or faking it and acting as if it doesn't it's act as if it's something you don't want to do, when actually they believe that it actually is something you want to do or something, that you are just choosing not to do it out of some principle, but really it's your deepest desire or something. And like, but it's maybe because this person doesn't understand why other people don't have those same desires as they do. So yeah, with the storyteller here, I think this person, like, maybe you told this person that you don't, that you would actually rather go on a date where you just walk in the park and talk to each other, sit on a bench and like talk, just have conversation. You would rather have a conversation with a person on a date, if this was a date. But even if it wasn't, like, you might have just expressed that it's more important for you to just talk talk to people. You don't need to go anywhere doing something. Like, this person might have like tried to make you do something, like, oh, shouldn't we go to like an escape room, or shouldn't we go to a theme park or a zoo, or somewhere. Like, if this was a date, like, this person might have suggested doing a bunch of things, and you might have said like it doesn't really, to you it's more of a distraction from what's actually important. And maybe this person also wanted to go, like, if you went to out at night with this person to bars or clubs or whatever, this person might have like wanted to go to like a dance club, and you might have said, well, that is not something I want to do, because I would rather be in some like shady, greasy pub somewhere that's not fancy at all, but with a lot of bums, and just sit there and talk to people, and hear people's stories. Like, you might be the type who likes to just go to a pub and just randomly talk to some of the people in the pub, even people who are, well, maybe alcoholics and homeless people, and or people from the lower lower part of like of the hierarchy or whatever. But like, or because they have a very interesting story to tell. Like, so it's just what you want. You want to go somewhere where you can actually have conversations with people, talk to people, and hear people's stories, and tell your story, and like have like be in a more quiet place where you can actually talk. And this person might be the type who really likes to go out on fancy clubs and dancing and with like loud music where no one can hear what each other are thinking and or are saying. I mean, but you that maybe you're telepathic, and so maybe you feel like when you're like. But I don't know. But that was kind of like a side thing. But I think there might have been this conversation going on where this person felt like they really wanted to go to a club, but this might be specific for one of you. They really wanted to go to a club, but you really wanted to go to a pub somewhere, and they just kept asking you if you wouldn't rather go to the club instead, because that was what they wanted to do, and so they might have like made it out to be that you actually wanted to go there, but you probably were just too scared to go to dance clubs because you were scared of dancing or something, or that you didn't want to look like a fool or on the dance floor, or because you felt like that something where they tried to make it out as if it was your problem, that it was some insecurities that you had that drove you to want to be in some greasy pub instead of some high-end dance club somewhere. And I don't know, but you might just be very different on that. Like, I think this person is someone who might not really have patience for like those long conversations where you just talk about life, where this person is someone who needs who's a bit more pleasure driven by their pleasure. Like, they are driven by getting entertained all the time. They are driven by having fun or doing something exciting, but mostly exciting for them. And so they also just like they are very driven by their desire, and they, like, if they desire something and someone else is getting in the way, like they get kind of like, it's like they are really used to getting their way, getting what they want, and people just accepting what they want, and they are maybe not that used to like doing something nice for others, and like also compromising and like doing something that other people want to do even though they don't want to do it. So yeah, with a student card, I think this person might have seen you as a student that maybe you are studying, or maybe this person just felt like you were really smart, maybe even a bit too smart, maybe to the point where maybe that's why this person didn't was so keen on doing something instead of just sitting and talking, because maybe they felt like if they sat and talked, that they wouldn't be on top, they wouldn't be superior to you, because maybe that's kind of out of their comfort zone, because maybe this person is not really that deep. They might, and they might not have that much to talk about really, and so they want to do something, because when they do something they shine. Like, I think I'm also getting the feeling like this person might have like asked you to like do something where you could like play a game or something where or play like table tennis or ping pong. I mean, or like foosball, or something active where. Because like that's something they felt like they could excel at. So yeah. I think there's also something about I think you have a lot of curiosity, especially to other people, where like you're really curious to like get to know people, and like every time you meet someone new, like even if it's a bum, or even if it's like like whoever you meet on your path, you can talk to everyone. And you have this curiosity for everyone you meet. You are very curious to hear people's stories, and I don't think this person shares that curiosity with you. I think they are more well, it's not that they don't care, but it might just not really interest them, and they might get very impatient with it and bored with it very easily. So yeah, but I think they looked up to you when they met you the first time. They had a good impression of you. And maybe a bit too good of an impression, where maybe this person is also used to having to being around people that especially since I'm getting that feeling that they have like they are used to manipulating the people in their life, and so that also makes me think that they might have chosen to have people in their life who were not that bright, so that they could manipulate them. And so they might have chosen people that didn't really, that wasn't that smart, and couldn't really see through them, and couldn't see through the mind games and all of that. And so maybe they also felt like you were a bit too smart, because you could like look right through them, and maybe they also felt like you could read their mind in a way, like you didn't you could tell when they were bullshitting you, like it didn't take, like you didn't it didn't work on you. And I think that kind of made them like, I think it was something they liked in a way, but also something that made them uncomfortable. But like I think they liked to finally have someone who, or like they felt like it was good for them in a way to have someone who didn't just do as they said, like, and someone who could oppose them and be more be direct with them, and some like I think this person is very stubborn, and so meeting someone who's just as stubborn as them in a way was maybe something that they found intriguing, but also a bit annoying, because they are used to getting their way, what they are used to making people do as they want them to do, or things that, yeah, whatever. But yeah, but their view of you was positive. They saw you as quite, as very knowledgeable, very very good at, like, very smart, and also a storyteller. Maybe you are writing something, or maybe you're a good writer. Maybe you two wrote together at first, or something, where they realize that you're really good in text, like you're good at writing, and that you have a gift for writing, maybe, but also maybe that you use some words that are maybe like that, like you talk you speak in a way that is like you're good at expressing yourself with words, I think. Even to the point where maybe you used some words that this person didn't know, and they might have felt a bit awkward because they didn't want to like they might not have said that they didn't know the word that you were using. They kind of just acted as if they knew what you were talking about, but they didn't, because there might have been a word that they didn't know, but they still acted as if they did, because they didn't want to they didn't want you to know that they didn't know the word. They didn't want to look inferior, and so, but I don't know. So I think that's all I have for you, group number 4. I hope this reading was helpful, and if it was, please subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you in my next reading. Bye. Hello, group number 4. I will start with the channeling, and then I will shuffle the cards for you. So, okay, group number 4. By the way, you chose this Dark Sun playing card deck. It's not a tarot deck. It's just regular playing cards, but I was drawn drawn to use these, so I will do that. So okay, I'll start with the channeling. So group number 4, this person's first impression of you, group number 4. I think this person really liked you a lot, actually. There's something about best, like that maybe you were the best at something, or maybe you were just the best bet for them. That doesn't really sound that positive, but like, I think they saw you as a really good bet. Like, if this was like a date that you were on, no, I don't think it was a date, but like maybe this person was out, like maybe you met at a party, or something where this person was like maybe trying to find love at that party. Like, that seems to be their goal. Like they might have gone out with that in mind, that they wanted to find love, and so they found you, and so they thought this is it. That's So I think this person actually had a really good first impression of you. Like they might even have fallen in love with you. So if this is like a romantic partner thing, I think like if you're romantically involved now, I think like it was like love at first sight. But even if you're not like romantically involved now, I think this person might have felt like you were the one for them, like when you first met, that they fell in love with you instantly, but maybe it didn't evolve into anything. Maybe it never developed into anything. Maybe it was also very short, and then they never saw you again, or you didn't see them, or maybe something happened where it was like very, very, like maybe you just met very briefly in the beginning, and it was abrupted, or and like I'm getting the feeling that they felt that they had found like I'm getting that like their first impression of you was very optimistic. Like they felt like, oh, I'm clicking with this person. What, this is interesting. Like instantly, this person felt a connection to you, and it just felt very natural. And like you might have made some jokes, and like you might have had the same kind of humor, and like you were just clicking, and it just felt very familiar in a way where this person just felt like he or she had like known you for like all their life, even though they just met you. Like so like maybe this is like a soulmate thing where or maybe this person just felt like you were their soulmate when they first met you. And this might come as a surprise to you, because you might be asking about a friend. Like if you're asking about a friend, I think you might have friend zoned them, and but I think they actually saw you as more than that when they first met you. But then it might have developed into just a friendship. But there's something here where like, I think this person felt like you were playing a game and they were playing another game. And so it kind of makes sense. Like if this person went out clubbing, or went out to a party, or went to some kind of social event with the thought in mind that they wanted to find a partner, a love partner, and you went to that same thing with a completely other thing in mind, where you just wanted to have fun and like meet new people and have a fun time, and nothing, like you weren't, and so I think you were playing two different games. You were not playing the same game. You were not on the same wavelength. You were in two different places at that time. They were seeking something. You were seeking something else. Their goal was not the same as yours, and so I think they might have gotten a bit disappointed that they felt like they were like maybe they were flirting with you, but you were not really reacting to it. And maybe you didn't even notice that they were flirting with you. Maybe you were oblivious to that, and so it didn't really. Maybe this comes as a surprise to you, because maybe you were blind to it, and so like maybe this is like, if this is something, if this is someone you met a while back and you haven't like talked to them again since then or something, maybe this was like divine timing. Maybe you two are actually meant to be together. Like maybe you are soulmates, but maybe there was a reason why it didn't work out. Like when you first met, there was maybe a reason why you were blind to them trying to flirt with you. Maybe it was you were blindfolded by like the spirit was like making you blind to them flirting with you, because the universe felt like it was not the right time or whatever. And so it might have been divinely timing. It might have been you couldn't see it back then because you were not supposed to see it, because you were not ready, or it was not the right time for this connection to happen. And there, I'm also getting that there's something, because this seems like the first impression that this person had of you, like when they first met you, it seems very brief. Like it was very short. And so maybe you started talking to this person, and then you were something distracted you from the conversation. Someone might have come up to you and started talking to you, someone else, while you were having a conversation with this person. And I think and then you started talking to someone else, and then you ended up like maybe neglecting this, or like this person might have felt a bit like you didn't prioritize them when you first met, that they were trying very hard to flirt with you, and you were not really, maybe you seemed a bit aloof and a bit distant, and like you weren't really interested in them, and they just felt like you were rejecting them. And even if you didn't reject them, like directly, I think they felt rejected because you were prioritizing other people. And maybe you even did, like, maybe I'm getting that maybe one of you ghosted this person in a way where you might not even have realized that you did that, but you might have went to the bathroom, and you might have said to this person that you were going to the bathroom and that you would come back in 5 minutes, and then you went to the bathroom, and then you started talking to someone in the hallway or on the way back, and then you started like a conversation with someone that ended up being a lot longer than you had expected it to be, and then someone invited you to go to a different party, and then you went to go to that party, and then you might have just ended up never, like maybe you never came back to this person, and maybe you never said goodbye or anything. So you, in a way, you left them hanging. You left them waiting for you, and they were waiting for you, but you never came back, and so they felt like, okay, that was a rejection. And maybe you didn't even intend it to be a rejection, but this person definitely felt like it was a rejection, that you were doing like that thing that you see in the movies where people are on a date, and then the person sneaks out of the bathroom window to get away from the date. And like, so I think this person felt like it was very clear that you were not interested at all. And maybe you also were like on your phone a lot, like and like checking your phone, and they were maybe trying to tell you something, but you were on the phone, like while you were having the conversation, and maybe they felt like you weren't paying attention to what they were actually saying to you, or something. But maybe you were on your phone because of something, like maybe there was a reason you were on the phone. So it doesn't have to be that you were like, there could have been a reason for that. So maybe it wasn't. Okay, so this card here, well, this is two of wands, and so the picture here doesn't really well, this is not the pictures on these cards are not following the tarot, of course, because they weren't made for that. So but I think well, with the Two of Wands, I think maybe they felt like, maybe their first impression of you was that you were a bit living, not really living in the now, that you were planning on something else, like you were waiting for the next thing. You were like, you know, like maybe this person got the impression that you were talking to them, but you were only talking to them while you were waiting for something better to come, or for someone better to come along. And that might not have been the case, but maybe this person is kind of insecure, so they think of like the worst case scenario, and that might have been the worst case scenario for them. And they might have felt, well, they might just have had low self-esteem, so they thought, well, you are not that you were not interested in them, that you were only talking to them out of pity in a way, or that you were just waiting for, you were just talking to them while you were waiting for your friends to come, and so, and also with the card here, like I could interpret it as like them feeling like you were like, oh fuck, now I'm stuck with this person, like now I'm stuck here for 9 months, like, because this is also pregnant, but whatever, it's not that, but like that you were bored with them, that you were just waiting for the conversation to be over, or something, where, and that you felt like you were stuck, like that you had to talk to them because you had like, well, because you were stuck with them, because you were waiting for someone to arrive, maybe you were waiting for something to begin, or waiting for a cab, or waiting for your friends, or waiting for something, or waiting for the bus, or whatever, and so they felt like you were just talking to them because you didn't have anything else to do, and then you had to rush away as soon as the thing that you were waiting for came along, and then they might have felt a bit used because you might have not, maybe you didn't text them afterwards, maybe you did, they gave you your their number, but you never used it, or something, or maybe they texted you over Facebook or something and you never actually replied or something. I don't know. Or maybe the other way around. But I'm definitely thinking that this person was a bit disappointed, and also with this Joker card here, with like this picture of someone, shooting themselves in the dick. Well, maybe this person felt like either way, either they felt like they had shot themselves by, maybe they felt like they fucked this up, or maybe they felt like you fucked it up. But like I think this person had like in their mind like an idea of how this should go, like how this conversation with you should go. Like for some reason I'm getting the feeling that they had like an idea in mind, and then like when they started talking to you, they felt like it wasn't going as they had thought it would, and so maybe it was because they said they ended up saying something stupid, or maybe they were nervous, or maybe they just felt like they were shooting themselves in the foot, and well, here in the dick, but like that it was they in some way made it harder for themselves but it could also have been that they felt like this is more like I think when they thought about it afterwards, I think first they felt like they had fucked it up, and like that they had blown their chance with you in some way. If this was a date, I think they felt like they fucked it up. Like at first they felt like they fucked it up, but then they might have like thought about it afterwards, and then like while trying to make themselves feel better afterwards, they might have like blamed it a bit on you and told themselves that, oh, you fucked it up too because you didn't seem interested in them. You couldn't see how good of a fit they were, how good of an opportunity they were, that you were not able to see how great they were, and that was your loss, and but okay, so with this card here, Facebook card, so okay, maybe you were on Facebook, and maybe you were scrolling through Facebook while you were talking to this person, when you two first met. So maybe this person got the impression of you that you are the type who is like a bit addicted to social media, or just rude, that you were just being rude to them by prioritizing me, or that you were bored, so bored with the conversation that you had to scroll through Facebook while having the conversation or something. Or maybe maybe they felt like you were I don't know, ignoring, like if you ignored them on like if they texted you on Messenger, on Facebook Messenger, you might have ignored them, and then they or you might have said that, oh, you're too busy, or that you're not really that much on Facebook or something, that you don't use social media that much, but then they might have seen you scroll through Facebook a lot, and like while like and maybe they also have seen that you post a lot on Facebook, and so they felt like that didn't really add up or something. but I also just feel like maybe they saw you as someone who got a lot of offers, and like they might not have felt like they could really, or maybe that you were a bit of a tease, that you were playing them, or something. But that doesn't really add up either. Like, but I'm just getting that maybe this, but because like, well, maybe this person just felt like you were very connected, and maybe also that you were maybe texting a lot of, or that they got the impression that you were the type who were texting a lot of different, like a lot of men. Like if you're a woman, that you're texting a lot of men, and that you were maybe a bit of a player, or like maybe there's also something about this person, like because I think this person was trying to flirt with you, but it seems that maybe you were trying to flirt with someone else, and so you were completely on a different wavelength. You were doing two very different things that didn't really match up, and so you had two different agendas, and maybe you even talked to this person about, like maybe you friend-zoned this person and talked to this person about the person that you were actually wanting to be with this person, and that's like well, yeah, that's a way to friend-zone a person like instantly, is to start talking about a crush that you have on someone else, and so maybe you did that, maybe some of you did that, and this person might have felt like you were toying with them, toying with their feelings, maybe also that you were using them in a way, or I just or that you were not interested in them because you were interested in, like, you were chasing someone else, and so maybe that they were quite hurt by that, because maybe they felt like they had made it quite clear that they were interested in you, and so they felt like you were not taking their feelings into account or something. And that with a play here, this play card here, yeah, definitely I think this person might have seen you as a bit of a player, but also that you were playing a different game. Like there could also have been like a cute way of saying of looking at it, where not a cute way, but like you might have this person might have like gone to like the party or whatever, the place that you met, with love in mind, but you were maybe just there to like play an actual game, like or win like some kind of game. Like maybe this thing was something where there was a game going on, and like you were very invested in the game, like the actual game, and like winning the game, and they were trying to win you, but you were trying to win something else. And so that might have been where you two had very different goals in mind, but I'm also just getting that maybe this person felt like you were a bit of a tease, or that you were maybe flirting with them and didn't really mean it, or that you were just a player, and that you didn't maybe they also felt like this, a bit like this, because there are some unicorns here, and this person here is like shooting this unicorn, and maybe they felt like because you rejected them, that you had like shot a unicorn. Maybe this person has really high thoughts about themselves. They might see themselves as a catch, and so they might have been kind of baffled by or not baffled, but kind of they didn't, maybe they are not used to getting rejected, and so the fact that you seemed kind of uninterested in them might have made them kind of, it might have caught them off guard because it's not something they are so used to or something. But maybe they also felt like you were not seeing them because they were one of the good guys, or that you were chasing some guys or girls or whatever that were kind of uninterested in you, and like you were chasing a unicorn in the fact that you were going after some people that did not have any interest in you, and you were blind to the people who were actually interested in you, and that was this person, for instance. And so they felt like you didn't see that what was right in front of you because you were too busy chasing unicorns and chasing people dreams that would never really happen, and chasing people that would never actually love you, like chasing like these bad boys or bad girls or whatever, and not seeing like the good guy or good girl right in front of you, and this is also Three of Pentacles, and so Three of Pentacles is also about putting someone up on a pedestal. And so I think this person, first of all, I think this person put you on a pedestal in the fact that I think this person saw you as maybe their soulmate right away. Like they felt like they had like a, but I also think they might have seen you as someone who put other people on a pedestal, that you were like chasing these people that you kind of idolized, and people you didn't even know, but for some reason you were chasing after them because maybe they could play the guitar or something, like something kind of like cheesy like that. And so yeah, with the Nine of Pentacles, which is this alone card here, and there's, I think this person might have seen you as quite like, because this is Nine of Pentacles, that is a card about independence, and so I think this person saw you as quite independent. They saw you as someone who might have been a bit too independent, even though you were chasing after like maybe someone or something, but like maybe for some of you, you were not actually chasing after anyone, but like as I said before, maybe you were just chasing after a trophy, or chasing after like something else, doing something completely different at that at whatever place that you two met. Like you were invested in something completely different. Maybe you were invested in your work, or maybe you were invested in your education at the time, and so you were very busy at the time, and busy doing whatever, busy moving up in the world. Like maybe you were trying to work yourself up and getting somewhere career-wise, and so maybe you were so focused on your career that you were not interested in love at the time, and so maybe you were just two different places in your life when you two met. Like, they were very focused on love, you were very focused on career, and so you had two different goals. You maybe met at like some social event, and you were like focusing on mingling and like networking, while this person was more focused on finding a partner, love partner, and so with the Ace of Swords, that also says fear, and has this picture here where I think, well, this is okay. This is straightforward. So there's like a family here. Like, I know that's not what this card what is trying to like say, but like that's kind of my intuitive interpretation in this reading. It says fear, and there's a family here looking at the TV together, and it says fear. And so maybe this person felt like you had a fear of commitment, fear of getting a family, fear of being together with a and starting a family, maybe a fear of getting pregnant as well. Like, maybe you were still in that state of mind where if you would accidentally get pregnant, you would say, fuck, this is like the worst thing that could have happened in my life. And so, and this person was maybe like in a state of mind that like they wanted, where they wanted to have children, where they were ready for children, where they were ready and like even a bit impatient and really wanted to start a family with someone. And they might have felt like you were in a different place, where you were fearful of that. You wanted your alone time. You were more focused on your individuality, your moving up in the world and doing that on your own, whereas they were trying to find someone that they could grow something with as a couple and grow a family with. And so you might have met when you two first met. You were in two different places in your life. You were, and so yeah, I think I do feel as if this could be divine timing. Like maybe it was like if this was a very brief like if you met very very briefly in the past, like if something came up and made like the conversation have like a very quick end, like there was a very quick end to the conversation that you had when you first met. I think there was probably a reason for that, because maybe you were not supposed to talk too much. It was supposed to go badly because you were two different places. If you had fallen in love with each other back then, you two would have realized that you were two different places and it wouldn't have worked out. But I think I'm getting the feeling that you are actually in the same place as this person is in now, and so you're not that different now in your mindset now than you were before, and so you have moved much closer to each other now, and so I am kind of optimistic that this could actually become a very beautiful thing if you were to start something in the future, or if maybe you're already in a relationship, but I don't know. But that's at least their first impression of you, and so that's all I have for you. Group number 4. I hope this reading was helpful, and if it was, please subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you in my next reading. Bye.